Honorable Mr. President, dear Volodymyr, thank you for the very warm welcome here in Ukraine as always. It is truly good to be with you again in your country, and I am pleased to stand beside you once more following our exceptionally important meeting in Washington earlier this week. After 3.5 years of Russian aggression, Ukraine remains strong, showing remarkable resilience and courage. Your friends and partners in NATO continue to support you. Our support is unwavering, steadfast, and constantly growing. In particular, thanks to the Pearl Initiative, a mechanism for supplying weapons from the list of priority needs, critical deliveries of American-made weaponry are being secured through funding from alliance member states. In just 1 month, as you have already mentioned, the initiative mobilized an additional $1.5 billion for the procurement of urgently needed arms and equipment, air defense systems, ammunition, and more. Further assistance packages are expected to follow. Allies support your defense industry with investments that boost both security and economic development. This morning, I visited one of your production facilities and witnessed firsthand the innovation in drone technologies that your country can rightfully be proud of. We are cooperating within NATO's Security Assistance and Training Initiative for Ukraine, with a command center based in Germany, to ensure your armed forces have the necessary capabilities for today and for the future. Our collaboration includes the Ukraine e-NATO Training Center in Poland, our Kyiv office, and the NATO e-Ukraine Council. This list continues to grow. We stand with you because we share common values, freedom, democracy, and the rule of law. We are united because we share a common goal, the preservation of Ukraine's sovereignty and independence. We share a mutual and interdependent security. Dear Volodymyr, your country has been actively defending freedom for 3.5 years. Your people have endured horrific suffering, countless sleepless nights under relentless Russian shelling of residential buildings, hospitals, industrial sites, and infrastructure. Ukrainian soldiers are fighting bravely on the front lines. They have repelled and continue to restrain the Russian onslaught. We support you, we honor you, and we remain with you in your efforts to establish a just and lasting peace. On Monday, we stood together in Washington alongside the President of the United States and numerous European leaders. We all sought to seize this opportunity to finally bring an end to this terrible war and to achieve peace and security after years of sorrow and suffering. President Trump has made it a priority not only to break the deadlock in relations with President Putin, but also to make it clear that the United States will participate in providing security guarantees for Ukraine. These reliable guarantees will play an extremely important role. That is why we are now working on defining them. So, when the time comes for you, dear Volodymyr, to begin these bilateral negotiations, you will know that the strength of Ukraine's friends stands with you, ensuring that Russia adheres to any agreement, whatever its form, and that Russia will never again lay claim to a single square kilometer of Ukrainian land. Mr. President, dear Volodymyr, I admire your courage and your leadership, and the enduring strength of the Ukrainian people. As you prepare to celebrate Independence Day, know that NATO will continue to stand firmly with Ukraine. Once again, my sincere thanks. Glory to Ukraine.
Dear colleagues, it is now time for your questions. Please, we are Ukraine.
Thank you for the opportunity. Much of today's discussion was dedicated to security guarantees. Mr. President, as you noted, military and national security officials work on this daily. In the past few days, have you received details on the response mechanism for another attack on Ukraine? How do you interpret Lavrov's statements that security guarantees should include Russia? Is this an attempt to delay the process of designing the architecture of these guarantees, or is it something else? I have a similar question for you, Mr. Secretary General. Will these security guarantees truly differ from those under the Budapest Memorandum? Will they genuinely protect Ukraine, and what will be done to ensure they are effective in practice?
Shall I begin? Well, First and foremost, I agree. It is important that Ukraine, the United States of America, and Europe are working together in unity. And we are speaking about security guarantees. We have agreed that there will be two layers. The first layer involves establishing a peace agreement, a ceasefire, or both. This layer ensures the armed forces of Ukraine are fully strengthened to face any challenges. The second layer will consist of what the United States of America and Europe will provide. That is precisely what we are working on. As we all know, the Budapest Memorandum and the Minsk negotiations did not result in real guarantees. Therefore, our new guarantees must not resemble those past efforts. Ukraine, Europe, and the United States of America are working together to establish guarantees of such strength that Putin, sitting in Moscow, would never even consider attacking Ukraine again.
To begin with, yes, work is underway, and video conferences are held daily. These take place at the levels I have mentioned, including military command. There are both video and audio meetings, because our command is stationed at the front. They are discussing the structure and infrastructure of how this could be implemented. Separate meetings are held among political and security advisors. Europe and America are united in this effort, as I stated earlier, that is a fact. This is the beginning of a major undertaking, and it is far from simple. Security guarantees consist of what our partners can provide to Ukraine, and also of what kind of army Ukraine must maintain, and where we can find the capacity to preserve the strength of our armed forces. Let me illustrate how complex this is with one example. When we speak about aircraft, specifically F-16 fighter jets, we are deeply grateful to all our partners for their coordination and for helping us establish an air fleet, or at least the beginning of one. We do not yet have all the aircraft we need, but we know that the current number is insufficient to guarantee air security. There is a specific quantity required, which I am not yet ready to disclose. But it is essential that we are all aligned, and that our partners share this understanding. They do share the vision of the presence we need, and the scale of the air fleet required. Achieving this demands, first and foremost, political will. Second, it requires manufacturing capacity. Because we are seeking real assistance, not aircraft delivered 20 years from now, once they are produced. This means someone must yield their place in the production queue. Someone must transfer newer aircraft. And in addition to that, someone must finance it. This is also a very complex process. That is why, when we speak about security guarantees, the details are not simple. All of these elements are being discussed, and each one is important. That is why work on security guarantees continues. It is crucial that all parties have expressed political will and a commitment to unity. Now, regarding the second part of your question about the Russian side, as Mark just stated clearly, we are all on the same side. Security guarantees for Ukraine are needed to ensure that we, and our children and grandchildren, know with certainty that Russia will not attack us again. These are guarantees against the aggressor. They are for the sake of Ukrainian security, our sovereignty, and our territorial integrity. Because the aggressor is Russia. When Russia raises the issue of security guarantees, I must honestly say, I do not yet understand who is threatening them. They attacked us. They are on our territory. I do not quite grasp what kind of guarantees an aggressor requires. Guarantees of what? So for now, I do not see the substance of that proposal. I believe our partners in Europe want to ensure that this war is never repeated. And the only trigger for such a war is Russia.